Whoa, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. For a second there, I was like, "Where's Kevin?" It's so hard to see you. All of them are wearing black too. That you're wearing black, and you're black, and you're in there. It's so I couldn't.
Hey.
I thought you could have been Jason Biggs' hair if you turned sideways like this. Yeah. Oh, shit. Well, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are the Rumble Pop. The Rumble Pop. Or Rumble Pop Live. Thank you for being a part of tonight's celebration. We're going to have a sexy good time, I think, right? A little sexy good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Boom. Hey, Big Sal's in the house. What's up, Big Sal?
What's up, Big Sal?
Good to see you, my friend. Let's get rocking with this, right? Kevin, I'm going to have you do some intros, and I'm going to do some stuff in the background. With my pants on this time, though.
Let's hope so. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you fine people in the 24 time zones. Welcome to the most sexy, most erotic, most sensual, and thought-provoking and naughty podcast on YouTube tonight. We are Rumble Pop. Now I'm going to quickly introduce to you my co-hosts and co-conspirators. First, we start with that naughty boy from the great state of Ohio. He is Bruce Campbell's #2 fan. He is DC Comics for life. And if you have a problem with it, he will put you in a chokehold, choke you out, and then slap you in the face. He was the Kent State University's 2000s University's Mr. Beefcake. And for reasons unknown to me, he was voted the 2023 second best looking and sexiest man of North Hollywood, California. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the socially lubricated, the provocative, Don!
All right. So I didn't label the live show, so it just says live stream. So that's the name of the show tonight, everybody. I hope you enjoy.
We're talking about a lot of live streams tonight.
I hope you enjoy the live stream.
Wow.
It works.
Next, we go to a man originally from the great state of Michigan, but now resides in that Lone Star state of Texas. He is considered one of the hunkiest, most intelligent, and manly men today, one of the most learned men in this country. He lays his happy hands of education. He makes sure that his students learn the masterful techniques of thespian arts. He makes sure they get a job in Hollywood, Broadway, or on the independent circuit. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for this lovable and huggable man. He is Professor Chris D. Turr.
Thank you very much.
Damn,
And last,
all right.
but certainly not least, a fine lady from that great state of Arizona. A lady who is a woman of high moral character, a true warrior, and one of the greatest top 10 Polynesian dancers on the West Coast today. She is a great cat mother. She practices the Cobra Kai lifestyle, and she is bewitching and brilliant. She always has a twinkle in her eye. She is Miss Bonnie Tuttle.
Wow.
And of course, I am your humble podcaster, the Grand Master of the Jedi and Vulcan Arts, your Supreme Chancellor, Brother Kevin.
Hey, Chris, your name's small again. I don't know what
I see that.
meaning of that is, but just is what it is, I guess.
Big Sal, what'd I do to you that you're gonna vote me down?
Right? He's the only one. He says food and sex. I say yes. Oh, that's cute, Sal.
That rhymes.
Yeah. Sal and I are going to start a band, by the way. I'm not going to tell you what it involves, but Sal and I are starting a band. He says no.
Is that going to be the band name, Food and Sex?
No. No, it's not. Definitely not, Bonnie. No. I just got
That would be an excellent band name.
I just got a text message. Kevin
Say
needs a light. He's too dark.
Well, you know what's funny? I actually do have an idea. I do have like another I might be able to do something. If you give me a minute, I might be able to make an adjustment.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah, you just blend right in back there. Go
MacGyver
ahead.
something.
You
dude.
go ahead. You go ahead. If you want, Kevin, you can do a little investigating while I perhaps do a little pulling out.
Oh boy.
Hey, I done pulled out on you guys. How about that? Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. No band, Donnie. Hi, Chris, Kevin, and Bonnie. Wow. Did you see that shit? He says no band to me, and then he says hi, Chris, Kevin, and Bonnie. Didn't say hi to me.
Hey, they
Wow.
said hello there, governor.
The disrespect. The disrespect, you know? No, I figured as much. Here we go. So, this segment, I always do one because I love it. I always try to bring this around to comic books at some point. This is a pile of something, I'll tell you. I read a good bit. It was, Thanksgiving weekend and stuff, so I had a little extra time. Sal says, it's because you want to slap my belly. Yeah, that was going to be part of the band. There's this, it's a belly slapping, and if you slap the belly in certain parts, it makes different sounds. And I thought, if he worked the top area and I worked the sides and the bottom, of the belly, we could have like a really cool band that, maybe Kevin would do the washboard or something.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, kazoo, something. We'll get a good band going. Trust me. So first up is Giant Robot Hellboy, #1 of 3. Yes, they done did it. Basically, it's a kaiju book. It's a Godzilla book, kind of. They kidnap Hellboy, knock him out, kidnap him, and then put one of these, like, kind of like what I got right now, like one of these things on his head. That looks kind of like a colander. It's like a Rick Moranis type thing going on, and then he's able to run this robot, this Hellboy, on an island to help beat down these irritated monsters that are on there. These giant monsters that he has to fight in order to distract the monsters, so this lady can get into this facility and try to find something. We don't know what yet. But that's the first issue. It's not bad. It's kind of fun. It's cool seeing a giant robot Hellboy. I mean, obviously. It's only 3 issues, so it's not a big commitment. So I'm going to keep going with it. It's only 3 issues, yeah. It's not bad. I would give it probably like a 6 out of 10. Nothing amazing, nothing terrible. Then we have Predator vs. Wolverine #1. Now, this came out a couple months back. I just got around to reading it. It's pretty good. It shows you basically Wolverine and this Predator have encountered each other multiple times over the years. When he was in the Alaskan frontier, when he was younger, and he fought a Predator, all the way up until I think it was the Vietnam War or somewhere around there, when Predators have kind of set a trap for them. In other words, him and all the like Maverick and not Goose, though. Goose wasn't in there. Maverick and Sabretooth and a few of the others, Weapon X program people. So it's pretty good. I'd give it probably about a 7 out of 10. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's worth your time. So Predator vs. Wolverine #1. Grab it if you can. This one was surprising. Cadians #1. The premise of this story is the Akuzu are trying to collect money from a small market. Basically ransom money, bully money. If you don't pay us 20% every month, we're going to beat the shit out of you. Well, they took it too far, and they beat the shit out of this girl's boyfriend until he died. And then they beat the shit out of her until she almost died. And right before she died, this cat took his tail and gave it to her. And by bestowing upon her his tail, he had given her the magic of the Cadians, of the guardians, cat guardians, and therefore had made her part feline then, and given her certain powers. So what'd she do with the powers? She has the power to create, right? Because now she has this big long cat tail. So she recreates her boyfriend. It does not go well at all. Shit goes south really fast, and the ramifications are nuts. But it's fun, man. It's fun on a bun. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I had a lot of fun with this one, believe it or not. As much as I'm not a huge fan of cats, this was a good book. It was a good story. So Catians, if you can pick it up, some Scout Comics, give it a try.
What's your beef with felines?
Sometimes you just get a rotten pussy, and it spoils it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just spoils it for me anyway. Like, there was this one cat, this pussy cat would bite my toes all the time. It just, all the time. I couldn't have my shoes off around the cat. And it was just, it's not nice. Dogs don't do that. So I just prefer dogs. Plus, cats make me sneeze. I'm allergic. What are you going to say? I get hives and shit. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. If I hold them especially, I'll get hives real bad. Jan Michael Lesmarius says, did Logan bring the Predator some candy? No, he did not. He did not. No, he did not. I think the Predator would probably try to get Logan with some candy, though, right? Because he's the Predator, if you think about it, you know. Sammy, hello. Good to see you. Next one is Jason Aaron wrote one called Batman Offworld. I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm going to rank it about 6.5. First of all, it's only $4, so that's not terrible. But it's Batman off-world. He creates a spaceship or gets a spaceship design and goes off-world because he realizes quickly that there are aliens out in the world that can kick his ass. So his goal is to learn how to kick the ass of aliens that could kick his ass. So it's all basically a Batman fight club. It's 6.5. Mortal Terror. Oh, buddy. Let me tell you about this. If it was a Mortal Terror, it's really about a whole countryside full of vampires being terrorized by humans. It's just kind of fun. You flip the script, so to speak, you know. So they're talking about it, you know, and they have a king there and in the town, and in how he feels that the humans don't really exist anymore and they don't have to worry, but they saw them, and you know, so it's fun. I would give it probably about a 6.5. And Eden Frost, #1, the story of the Golem, retold in a town of two children on the run from evil townsfolk, and they're protected by the spirit of a golem. So it's called Eden Frost. It's not my favorite. I'd say probably 4 out of 10 on this one. Definitely you could skip. You could skip this one. If you had to, you could skip Mortal Terror. You could skip Batman Offworld. And you could skip Giant Robot Hellboy if you wanted to. But I would say if you're really into Predator or Wolverine, Predator versus Wolverine looks like it's going to be fun. And Catians, definitely pick that up if you can, because it's freaky dicky. And that's it. That's all about me pulling out. No, Sammy, none of these stories have poison ivy in them. In fact, the last time I saw poison ivy was when my mother gave it to me when I went back home to visit. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. God, Donald, that pullout was so long. I hope you don't do that in sex. You have a bunch of illegitimate kids somewhere.
You're not wrong. Yes, I'd have a bunch of children, little tiny children, just running all around the place. But I don't have any that I know of, so we're good. Although at some point there's probably going to be a knock.
Let us know in the chat if you're one of his illegitimate children.
I'm at the age where I could definitely have some children that are online right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Gen Zers out there.
Yep. Definitely could, but let's not talk about that.
Speaking of pulling out.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about these films, guys. Let's talk about
sex, baby.
Yeah. You and me. Let's talk about all the good things.
All the good things and the bad things.
Yeah.
That can be.
Yeah. That's it, guys. That's it. We are singing it. We are living it. So yeah, we're gonna talk about some dirty films, basically some pornos. One of them Kevin wanted us to include was this actual snuff film. And I had to explain to him, first of all, what a snuff film was, that he shouldn't be watching it, and that we couldn't talk about it or air it. So, yeah, if you want to talk to Kevin about this stuff, go to the dark web at 11 p.m. He'll be there. He's under Krispy Kreme Fingers. I don't know why that's his name on there, but it is.
Krispy Kreme Fingers.
Krispy Kreme Fingers. I don't know why his name is on there, that name. I don't know.
What about Sprinkles? What about Sprinkles?
Sprinkles? I don't know. You chose it. What do I know? I don't know nothing. Oh, okay, so let's bring up some stuff. We're going to start. So to preface this, guys, there's a lot of films with sex scenes, okay? A lot of them are hilarious. A lot of them are after sex. This is what happens. Or before sex. This is what happens. And then there's some scenes where it's like in between. And so we tried to get a lot where it was basically during the action for most of the scenes that we could do. And a lot of them just are rather hilarious. Some of them aren't full on sexy sex, penetrational sex type stuff. Some are just the deeds, sexual deeds, sexual deviance, so to speak. Deviance, deeds, I don't know. But we tried to come up with a list that we thought would be informative and funny. We can't show you the clips. We're actually working on having that capability to where we can show you the clips at some point, which will be nice when that takes place. But for now, we're just going to talk about them and hope that you have seen them or that you will go and search them out. Because I think, honestly, some of these are definitely worth your time. Some of them I'm learning about for the first time, which kind of cracked me up. And some of them are old school, and I've known about them for ages. So Sammy says, "Oh, Kevin." Jan Michael says, "My prediction is Scary Movie will be on the list." And Sammy says, "Penetrational? Is that a word?" Yes, it is, Sammy. It is. Penetrational.
It is now.
It is a word. Look it up in the Urban Dictionary where I've just typed it in. There we go.
Now.
Okay.
Coin Donald McKinney, 2023.
No, it'll say Krispy Kreme Fingers. All right, so number 10. Yeah, none other. We're going to get a little McLovin going on. We're talking about Superbad. What'd you guys think of Superbad? Personally, I love Superbad. I think it's one of the...
Oh, yeah.
I love, I think it's hilarious. I think it's probably one of the few movies I actually really, really enjoy Seth Rogen in because he's not in it very much.
Yeah, and he actually plays kind of a cool guy in it.
Yeah. I just think the casting is perfect in it, and I think think it's hilarious, and it's really one of the last, I think, raunchy comedies we got.
Really, one of the legitimate ones. I would say that one. I can't remember the name of it. It had 3 boys in it, and it might have been
the one that came out a couple years ago. That was a
Yeah.
Seth Rogen movie too. That was produced by Seth Rogen.
Yeah, so that
Good
one
Boys,
was
I think it was called.
Good Boys.
Oh,
That might have
yeah,
been it.
Good Boys.
Yeah, that was pretty raunchy too. I really
Yeah.
like that one.
It was a little like Stand By Me, but not really. Raunchier.
It was like, what if Stand By Me was only about sex?
Oh, wait, I might be confusing. Never mind.
Yeah.
Mixing it one. That's okay, though.
Scorch says, one of the funniest sex scenes was in Police Academy 1 when Mahoney gets the prostitute to service Commandant Lassard under the lectern. Jan says, face red heart shape. Aw. And California Music Box Studios says, hola, California Music Box Studios. Thank you for joining. So, what's so hilarious about McLovin making McLovin?
All right, so let me preface. Here's the scene. So it's the party. McLovin basically like gets this girl bed, and the way he says when they finally start doing an act, he gets inside of her, and the way he just looks and says, "I'm in," and he's just so happy and so excited and so proud of himself. And then 2 seconds later, the cops show up and burst into the room, and she runs off. He's just laying there. He's like, "Hi guys." and it's just perfect timing, and his reactions are perfect, and it's just such a funny moment on film.
It is true. McLovin is what's his name? Plazzy or whatever his name? I can't remember his full name.
Plassey.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Yeah.
What is it?
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Plasse.
Plassey.
He has a hyphenated name.
Plasse.
Just should have changed his name.
He has a very Plassey name.
He could have called himself Mincy Mints or something, and that would have been great. Or Krispy Kreme fingers. I don't know. Something he could have changed his
Mince on a
name.
pillow.
It's just something a little more, to be able to be said, a little more, give you the ability to actually say his name without sounding like an asshole. No offense to anybody that already tried to say his name, by the way. I'm just saying. I would sound like an asshole.
Would it be like Chloe Metz? Would it played in Kick-Ass?
Yeah, I don't pronounce her name either. They were in the same
Chloe
film.
Grace Moretz?
Yeah,
That's
you go.
true. They were in the same film. Yep, they sure were in the same film.
Yeah.
That's not a hard name to pronounce. Chloe Grace Moretz?
Chloe Grace Moretz? No.
Moretz. Chloe Grace Moretz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
Chloe Grace Moretz.
There we go.
Chloe Grace Moretz. Oh.
Say it.
I just said it 3 times. I think she just appeared. There she comes. Ah, no. I'm busy. I'm doing a live show. I can't talk right now. Get out of here. People, I tell you. Okay. It's really not hard, says Sammy. Cheese, Donald. Whatever. McLovin is the best, man, says Hanzo, which is Philippe. And yeah. Okay, so that's number 10. Let's go to number 9. By the way, Superbad is, I think, another scene that was really hilarious to me. And it wasn't sex, but it was sex related in a way. It was where what's his name kept drawing penises, and he had like a compulsion, and he couldn't stop drawing dicks. He couldn't stop drawing dicks. And I feel like I work with somebody right now that has that same compulsion. And that's Julio from We Can Be Heroes comics. He can't stop drawing dicks.
Why is that?
I don't know. At one point, he put a hat on a dick, and he said that looked like you, Kevin.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, where's he giving out those toys earlier this year? That were shaped
little tiny dicks?
Yeah, they're shaped like phalluses.
Yeah, somebody printed those, 3D printed little tiny dicks for him.
Wow.
It's very nice of him to do, to print off little tiny dicks. My mom and dad have yet to appear. I don't know what's going on there. They're probably, because it's a new TV, they're having a little trouble, probably.
All right, if anybody would like to see Superbad, if you've never seen it, or just remind you, hey, that movie was funny, I'm going to see it. It is streaming on Netflix.
Nice. Number 9. Number 9 is one that Bonnie turned us on to.
You're welcome.
And that is, it was Justin Long, and who else was in it?
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore.
And Charlie Day.
Charlie Day.
Mostly.
Ron Livingston from Office Space.
Oh, wow. Christina
Jason
Applegate.
Sudeikis.
Yeah. Christina Applegate's in it.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan's in it.
Yeah. Quite a cast. It's called Going the Distance. Now, in this particular scene, Bonnie, you want to tell us exactly why this scene made the list? Because I found it to be quite hilarious.
So this scene made the list because it's just hilarious. It's just a hilarious situational moment. So the premise of Going the Distance is that Justin Long and Drew Barrymore, they meet in New York. They hit it off. They start this relationship, but she ends up moving to the West Coast. And they decide this thing, it's too good to just kind of let fizzle out. So we're going to try the long distance deal. So what's happening in this scene is that they've been apart for a couple of months now. They've been texting, they've been talking on the phone and everything. So they've got all this built up sexual tension between them. He comes to visit her, and first thing they do, they gotta bang this out. And she's currently living with her sister. So they are getting all hot and heavy. They're coming through the front door, wasting no time at all. Clothes are coming off. The dining room table is right there when you enter in the front. And so they just start going at it on the dining room table. And then her sister walks in and catches them. And, oh, crap, what the heck is going on? And, oh, wait, there's more. Her sister's husband is eating a midnight snack at the end of the dining room table. And has just been frozen, petrified from the second they walked in because, as he says, it happened so fast I didn't know where to go.
Yeah, what do? You get up, and disrupt it, or he was actually still eating too, which is the best part.
It's like mid-bite, like I don't. I'm sorry.
It all happened so fast. I didn't know where to go. I mean,
you seem to be settled here, so very nice to meet you. I'm gonna, I guess.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's a great
Very,
scene.
very funny scene.
Great sexual scene that happened. And if I recall, Chris had something very similar to that happen to him. Chris, why don't you tell us about it?
All right, so this one time, Donald and I were chatting.
Whoa! Oh,
we were just chatting.
Okay, that's
on
a different
Skype,
time. Okay,
like this.
Yeah.
And then Kevin came on, right? And he was like having like sex with 4 women at the same time.
Really?
And just like, for some reason, Donald missed it. I don't know, he was drunk or something. And I just saw it, and I didn't know what to do. So Kevin, he satisfied all 4 women.
Wow.
And then like I sat there, and then he looked and goes, "Oh, I was broadcasting this whole time, and I was sitting there eating popcorn." And I was like,
yeah, but the worst part is you went and made popcorn and then came
"Oh,
back.
I did, yes." That's good on Kevin. He was going to last that long with 4 women. Like,
look at
good
him.
on him.
This is quite this is
He's
quite the
dabbing
fantasy
the
you
sweat
guys
at the
must have.
memory.
Yeah, he's
I know.
patting himself down.
This is quite a fantasy you gentlemen must have of me. My goodness. The fact that you think I would commit an act of menage a sink is interesting, to say the least.
Philippe says Kevin is my hero.
Oh no, brother. I'm no one's hero. I'm no one's hero.
Well,
Now those girls in the background, those are all the girls that was in his foursome.
Yes, apparently.
Well, there are 3 women there, I think, in that photo.
And one man that looks like a girl.
Yeah. Well, that counts, right?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Why not? We live in a different time. It's fine. Kevin, it's fine. No one's judging.
Oh, of course.
It's fine. So that was number 9. Number 9 was Going the Distance. Now I'm going to start typing these in because these are going to get harder to remember the names. This one is very unknown film. Not many people have heard about it at all. It's a film called The Naked Gun. That's right.
Yes.
The Naked Gun.
No idea.
Leslie Nielsen.
Mm-hmm.
How we miss him. How we miss that man.
Right?
Made in 1988 by the Zucker brothers.
Who also did the Airplane movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's another movie on our list we'll talk about later.
There we go. For some reason, it was saved under Loaded Gun.
Actually, wasn't that like a spoof?
Different movie.
Yeah.
Different
Loaded
movie.
Weapon. You're thinking
Loaded Weapon. That's
Yeah,
what it was. Loaded
that's
Weapon.
a Lethal Weapon
Spoof.
yeah. So this one, if you can see,
That was an ADHD moment, I think.
they are wearing giant condoms with the tips on their heads.
Because, you gotta practice safe sex.
Right? Yeah, you have to practice safe sex. The sheer fact that they had to get in these, or at least 2 people did. I don't know if it was them. 2 stunt doubles maybe had to get in there and fool around with these giant prophylactics. Cracks my shit up. Just cracks my shit up knowing that this existed and this happened. It's a great sex scene, by the way. It's really something. But it's a lot of fun. Philippe says The Naked Gun, laughing my ass off, and Frank says that's a nice beaver. Thanks, I just had it stuffed. Yes, there's so many good moments and so many great. The Zucker brothers had some of the greatest lines of all time. I mean, I would say it's like kind of like you would get from Duck Soup or something along those lines, you know, with Groucho and those guys, but in modern times or more modern times. You get those zingers. Another film that I really love with that kind of a movement and that kind of a fast pacedness was Brain Donors, and that was with I think John Turturro was the lead in that one. And it was just about these three guys that were just idiots, but they were quick on their feet. You know, they had great dialogue and a witty rapport with each other. And I think that you see that with The Naked Gun. And I do want to bring up there is a fantastic actor in here that unfortunately he got a bad rap, and that's O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson is fantastic in
All three of them
in the Naked Gun series. Just playing an idiot, but playing it so well. O.J. Simpson did a hell of a good job, and I was being facetious with the bad rap thing, obviously. Don't kill me. Okay, I'll see myself out. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. If I had a boo button, I would be pressing that, but I only have applause. Thank you, everybody.
I can boo you. Boo!
Oh.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, sir. Which one out of the Naked Gun franchise? Which one's your favorite, guys? Just go around. Kevin, Chris, Bonnie.
You know, I love that opening scene to the first one so much, where he takes on all of, like, the enemies of America. It's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the opening to part 2 with Barbara Bush is hilarious too. It involving like the different, pieces of food on the table. So for me, it's 1A and 1B between the first two.
Yeah. Okay. Chris, what about you?
Let's say number 2.
Okay, number 2. Why particularly number 2?
I don't know. I just find it a little funnier. Like it's like they got the characters down, and so they were able to just like intensify. Like the first movie they did it and it was great, but then like they were able to take these characters that they got down and then make them better in the second one. It was tighter. So it's just I think I like it. I like it a little more. It's a little tighter.
Mm-hmm. Bonnie, what about you?
It's honestly been a hot minute since I've seen any of the Naked Gun trilogy, but
okay.
I do remember very thoroughly enjoying the second one a little bit more than the first. So I'm going to go with Chris on that. It's probably because it felt a little bit, a little bit more elevated, a little bit tighter, just, like I think at that point, obviously after the first one, they knew what was really working with it and just went after that.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mine, of course, is 33 and a third, the final insult. I love Naked Gun 33 and a third. I think it's the best out of the franchise, hands down. Frank's trying to go into retirement. He's feeling melons, and then he turns around, and of course he's feeling the ladies' melons, and he's trying to open up one of these baggies at the grocery store to put the vegetables in and can't figure it out, so he just wraps it around the outside of the vegetable. Just all these small little things that like happen in there. And then we get Remo Williams himself. Fred, I think it's Fred Ward or Fred Willard. I can't remember. Fred Ward, I think. I always get those two confused, but he was Remo Williams. He's in there. Anna Nicole Smith is in there, which is great because there's a little scene in there that happens, if you know what I mean. That's pretty hilarious. It's just a really fun film. The Academy Awards, everybody thinks he's Phil Donahue, and he's trying to stop a bomber, and then he just keeps messing shit up, and they're like, let's not invite Phil Donahue back next year.
Also, the beginning of the movie with the babies and the like untouchable scene, the babies go down the stairs.
Oh yeah, down the steps and
OJ's catching all the babies and he's like doing like the shuffle.
Yeah, and then he goes to What would they spike the baby instead of the ball? Yeah,
instead of the
yeah.
ball.
So a lot of really funny moments. They do a flashback where OJ tries to come through a room and his fro's so big he gets blocked, and then he has to turn sideways and let himself in. Like just all these moments in 33 and a Third. I just love that movie so much. So that would be mine.
And yes, not only I have to confirm it is Fred Ward.
Fred Ward, thank you very much. We got a few comments here. Let's see. Philippe says the scene with the trans laughing my ass off. I think that's the third one is what he's talking about with the Anna Nicole Smith one. Oh, I also in the 33 and a Third where his wife is at I think a truck stop, and she's on the phone, and she gets off the phone, and there's a trucker there, and he's like harassing her, and he's like, "Come on, baby, why don't you give me some?" And she's like, "No," and he's like, "I know when a woman says no, she really means yes." And then she's like, "Well, then yes." And he stops and he's like, "What do you mean no?" And it's just the dumbest thing ever. I love it. It cracks me up every time. I might watch it tonight. I love that movie so much. So then Elvin says, "My favorite podcast." Thank you, Elvin. Good sir. Good to see you on.
So nice of you, sir.
And thanks for covering on Sunday for Bubbles, so he can go take his lady out for their anniversary.
Bubbles? I thought Bubbles was a monkey from that was on.
Might as well be, my friend. Might as well be. Trust me. Yes. Frank says, "I like when the car crashes into the fireworks store and Frank Drebin says, 'There's nothing to see here.'" And everything's poo, 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 poo. That's true. Big South says, "Body condoms, sick." Leslie Nielsen is a national treasure. You are right, sir. You are right.
God rest his soul. I miss him.
A national treasure. And they're going to put they want to put Liam Neeson in the role of Frank Drebin for a reboot on The Naked Gun, and I'm not against it. I'm not against it.
I think Liam Neeson has the comedic chops to do it.
I think he could.
If you look
at,
true,
because he can do dry humor. He could do dry humor.
Yes.
I mean, he was hilarious in Extra. Was it Extras? No. What was it?
It was
extras. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, it was extras. And he's like, "I'm at the greengrocers, right?" And then he's like, "And then I have AIDS." And they're like, "No, you can't say that." It's the best. Yeah, it's a great scene. If you get a chance to YouTube it, just YouTube Liam Neeson extras scene, and it should pop up for you. It's really funny, guys. Really, really funny. Next on our list, though, since we just did Naked Gun at number 8, let's go to number 7. Number 7 is G. Frank. It's exactly what you were talking about. That is Police Academy at number 7. Now, it is that scene. It is exactly that scene where Commandant Lassard is headed to the podium to do his speech. Mahoney is underneath there. He's trapped there with a lady, a prostitute that he had squirreled away. And I think he manages to get out of the podium. And she gets stuck there, if I recall. I could be wrong, but I think he manages to get out. She gets stuck there. And then Lassard goes up to the podium. And she thinks that this is the person that she's supposed to take care of. So she unzips his pants and gets to work. And you see Lassard's reaction as he's giving this speech to all of the other people in the police academy, in the what is it? It's not a coliseum or anything. It's a gymnasium almost, basically. He gives a speech, and then the look on his face. The guy that plays Commandant Lassard, I can never remember his name. He lived a full, long life, by the way. He lived a long time. Passed not too long ago. And he had...
George Gaines.
Thank you, George Gaines. He had the best comedic timing. I mean, he was hilarious in every single one that he was in.
Plus, he was on Punky Brewster. Remember, he was the...
Oh, yeah, you're right. He was, wasn't he? I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, and I if you get a chance to go back and revisit these films, yes, there's a lot of no-no moments. I get that. There's a lot there. But if you look at it as a product of the times, it's friggin' hilarious. The movies are still hilarious. They're still great. They'll still get rise out of you, if you know what I'm saying.
I think if I remember correctly, this scene had penis.
No, I don't think so. I don't think we saw any penis.
No?
No. I think you wanted to see penis, and therefore in your head there was penis, but I'm pretty sure there was no penis in this scene, Chris. But I'm sure maybe if you Googled him and put penis next to it, maybe online there'll be a picture of his junk somewhere. I don't know. Give it a shot, right? He did. I need to stop. I'm sorry. Sal says, Mahoney, what a sucker. Frank says, I love one.
No, I'm saying Tackleberry is another guy who cracked me up.
Oh yeah, there was another scene that we were talking about. Chris, why don't you explain that one really quickly? No, you're on mute.
It was from Police Academy 2, and Tackleberry goes on a date with the other cop, and they get back to his place, and or her place, I can't remember, and they have sex, and they're both like super into guns and stuff, and the first minute of the scene is literally them just taking off guns off of their bodies, and it's just ridiculous because it just keeps coming and it's just piling up these guns, and it was just pretty hilarious, and then just the scene is just so aggressive and funny. I don't know, it's not as funny as the blowjob scene, but it was another one I thought of when we were coming up with this, and I was like, oh, that's a pretty hilarious scene, ridiculous as Police Academy is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Police Academy is all about being ridiculous, and if they ever tried to redo it, it would be super hard, I think, now to make this work.
You have to find the right actors, and then you have to be a little more PC in certain respects.
Man, yeah, I would red band the shit out of it. You know what I mean?
You know what? You know what's interesting is the guy who did the sound effects. I can't remember his name.
Michael Winslow?
Yes,
Michael Winslow. He didn't really... He kind of fell into obscurity after the movies. He went on America's Got Talent just so he could be in the spotlight again because everyone forgot about him. And it was a good act, but I felt kind of sorry, bad for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was smart. I think it's smart of him to be put in the spotlight again and to showcase his talents because he is very talented. The only film I've seen him in outside of Police Academy was, I believe, well, actually, there's two. One of them was Spaceballs. We got the bleeps, the beeps, and the meeps, and the creeps. So he did that, and then he explained each one by making the sound. But he also was in recently, not too long ago, a feature film with a friend of mine, Hans Hernke. I can't remember the name of the film, but I'm sure if you Googled it and you Googled the two names, you could figure it out. But I remember him being on set with him and taking some photos and stuff, and I was like, "Oh, holy shit! It's Jones. It's Jonesy. You know, it's the guy." So yeah, it's a great set of films. Police Academy is also a national treasure. So Leslie Nielsen and Police Academy. Frank says, I love when Lassard says to Lieutenant Harris, Mahoney did a bad thing, and Harris said, what did he do, sir? And Lassard wouldn't specify. Yeah, that's usually the way that went, though. Big Sal says, my favorite scene is the introduction of Michael Winslow. Yeah, wasn't he just making some random noises to just try and drive him nuts, that making him think that it was his comm or something going off. And we got we had what was his name? There was the two villains in it. There was Mauser, Captain Mauser, right? Who was the taller guy, and then we had the other one that had the dog, the pit bull, and he walked around with a stick. And I can't remember his name now, but he ended up being the one that was seen the most. He was in most of the police academies, and now I can't remember his name either. I'm terrible with names, guys. I should just really look this stuff up in advance.
Is it Lieutenant Harris?
That's it. Thank you, Lieutenant Harris. Yes.
D.W. Bailey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. He was also in Mannequin too. Not the second one, but Mannequin as well, because there was 2 Mannequins. And by the way, the first one is superior to the second. I don't care what McNamara says. Mannequin 1 is a far better film than Mannequin 2. Okay? That's just the way it is.
Police Academy is also famous for bringing us lots of characters, like besides, Mike Winslow, and it also brought us Bobcat Goldthwait. So
Yes, that's true. And Sweet Chuck.
He comes in the third one, right?
Second, he's a bad guy in the second one, and then joins
the third one. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and then the fourth one is Citizens on Patrol, which I believe is probably my favorite, still to this day. Although I do dearly love 1 and 2, and I think 2 is a strong contender for being a classic amongst classics. But yeah, I would say 4 is still probably my favorite one, the Citizens on Patrol, and because that's also Mahoney's last Police Academy film too. He actually Steve Guttenberg hangs up his hat after the 4th one, which was much to my dismay, because they were never the same after that. They kind of didn't really recover. They only made, I think, 7 or 8 of them.
7. The last one takes place like in Moscow.
Yep, there was 5, which was the one where Lassard got kidnapped.
Miami Beach, I believe.
Yeah,
at the Miami Beach.
There was 6, and I can't remember the name of 6, but a lot of people said that
City Under Siege.
Yeah, a lot of people like City Under Siege, and then there was 7, which was a Mission in Moscow, and then that was it. This is basically like the Ernest franchise. It was just went downhill. But let's go to let's see, number 6 on the list. Number 6 is, oh my God, Bonnie, bless you for this one. Number 6, Moving Violations.
Very, very little known movie that came out in 1988. But somehow, I don't know how, but I managed to grow up with this movie, which I do realize if you've seen it, it is wildly inappropriate for a small child to be watching. But I was watching it from the time I was about 5, 6 years old. It's one of my favorite movies. It always has been, even though half of it went flying right over my head. But yes, Moving Violations. I even have it on DVD.
I'm gonna have
this
to
is out
watch
of print,
that
and
for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have a bad movie night with this. It's fantastic. It has a great ensemble cast, starring actually Bill Murray's younger unknown brother, John Murray. And Jennifer Tilly, James Keach is in it. Yeah, a lot of great people. And the scene that we are talking about that's just friggin' hilarious. The premise of the movie is that there's a group of people who all get sentenced to traffic school for their excessive amount of moving violations. And the judge that has sentenced them to traffic school has also decided to impound their cars. So they have no licenses, they have no cars, they've got to do traffic school with this really mean cop who's at the head of it all. And this guy's really got it out for John Murray. And somewhere down the line, like, his life is just going downhill at this point from the moment that he's met John Murray's character. He screws up his promotion. He gets sentenced to himself to teaching the traffic school and all this other stuff. And he ends up connecting with the judge who sentenced them all. And she comes up with this plan, or shows him her plan of how they can make a whole lot of money by making sure everybody fails traffic school, so that they can keep their cars and then auction them off, but, take some off the top for themselves.
Nice little scam.
Right? A nice little scam. And of course, like any good scam, you've got it all written down in a perfectly beautifully bound ledger.
Yep, a ledger. Yeah, you got to call it a ledger. Yeah.
It's a ledger full of all the details. So the scene which we're talking about, the cop's girlfriend, who is also a cop, who is doing the traffic school with him, she finds out about the ledger and his affair with the judge. So she decides to get together with the group of traffic school attendees and tells them the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And they all decide, okay, well, we've got to get our hands on this ledger. So they go to his house where he is currently having relations with the judge.
I mean, like, sexy relations, like leather and bull rips and shit. They're into it, man.
It's a little kinky.
Yeah.
Little kinky. And
even just thinking about it again cracks me up. This is so good.
Yeah. So the only entry point they have to the house, because everything's locked, is a bathroom window. And the only one of them who can fit through this bathroom window is a little old lady.
Yes.
And the hilarious thing with this little old lady is she can't see shit. That's her whole gag throughout the whole movie. She can't see shit. She can barely hear anything. So they all pick her up. They shove her through the window. And she's tasked with the mission to go get the ledger. Well, what happens, because she's a little old lady and she can't see shit, on her way to the bed where they are very clearly
going at it.
Going at it.
The ledger's like off to the side, right?
Sitting on the nightstand. Just sitting there, because, of course you're going to bang with your evidence just sitting right there.
Right.
She trips over a pair of shoes and falls onto the bed, onto the two, as they're going at it. And she's getting
tossed
around.
She's like this.
They don't notice that all of a sudden there's a third party with them.
Let me enlarge this photo. She's literally laying on top of them, getting thrashed about.
She's getting thrashed around.
As they're going at it, there's the lady, and here's the poor old woman laying on top.
I mean, imagine if you're in a bounce house and you fall and you try to get up from the bounce. It's like that. So eventually she manages to somehow get bounced off of them, and she grabs the ledger, runs out the door. In the midst of all this, somehow it's not until they hear the door close from her grabbing the ledger and running out the door that they realize, oh, somebody was here.
Mm-hmm.
And they stole the ledger. Oh my God. And of course they go running after her, and hilarity ensues. Chaos. But that is
moving violation.
It is very hilarious. I had no business watching this movie as a 6, 7, 8-year-old.
No
business whatsoever. But my God, is it hilarious.
Number 5. Let's go with number 5. Okay, number 5 is another Zucker Brothers film. It is Kentucky Fried Movie. I believe this is their first film, and it's kind of an anthology. It's a series of skits, actually. It's like Saturday Night Live, only more perverted. And the picture of part of the picture is behind Chris right now. You guys can see before I bring up the another photo, which, oh my, looks like something's going on here. Good Lord. All right, so Chris, why don't you explain the hilarity that is Kentucky Fried Movie in this scene in particular?
The movie itself is hilarious. It's my favorite movie. I've probably seen it 30,000 times. And there's some really good scenes, like the danger zone. I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, there's some really funny stuff. They do kung fu movie parody at one point, and I love a line where they go, "We're gonna send him to Detroit." No, not Detroit. So it's a very silly Zucker brother humor. This particular scene is near the end of the movie, and it's called the Joy of Sex album, and it's basically this awkward younger couple who are want to have sex, and they play this album that's supposed to help accompany doing the act, and kind of gives you like instructions on what to do. And it's like this really nice radio style like voice doing it. He's like, "Welcome to the Joy of Sex album," and it like really goes like step by step instructions. This robe,
Very,
this and this,
yeah,
like,
very step by
and then
step.
he like struggles to get it right, and he misses that. He's like, "Now's your time to caress her," but he like misses it, and it's like now it's time to sit in the bed. And then it's like it is just like the sexy like jazz like sex music playing with it, and then he goes, "Oh, wait, now it's time to put in." And then at one point he's like, "Repeat after like do repeats," and he goes, "I want you, I need you, I want you, I need you." And the girl says something, and then he goes and something in Spanish. What is it? Tudo a todos. I have something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's just a Spanish. Out of nowhere, it's just a Spanish saying, and she repeats it like twice, and then he goes, "And now it's time to put in your birth control device," and it's the female, and so she has to go to the bathroom, and so she leaves. It turns into circus music. It goes, and it's like it plays, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on, and then like she comes out, and it goes back to the sexy romantic music, and it goes, "Oh, now it's time to kiss and go and lay down in the bed," and so they lay down in bed, they start to do it, and then they're about to like have sex, and then like a lot of young couples, premature ejaculation happens. But there's a thing in the record in case it happens. The record goes, if it happens, the Joy of Sex album comes fully equipped with Big Jim Slade, and then a giant muscle man crashed through the wall wearing nothing but a Speedo, and he is the former tight end of the Kansas City Chiefs, and the record lets us know that, and lets him know that the capital of Nebraska is Lincoln, and then the bodybuilder then grabs the girl, sweeps her away, and takes her away, and to finish her off because the girl gets what she deserves. And then that's the scene, and it's the funniest freaking thing in the entire world.
Yeah, I know you love this.
And as I know, it's where the Zucker brothers got their start, and you can see it in all of their other movies. But I mean, this is not the. I don't even think it's the funniest scene in the movie. It's one of the funniest scenes in the movie. But it is like there's a ton of like scenes that are hilarious. Most of you probably haven't seen it. If you want to see it, it's on Freevee and it's on Peacock. If you have either of those. I would say check it out if you like the Zucker brothers, you like their movies, check it out. Like I said, I really like Danger Zone. Very racist, but it's hilarious.
There's some really good skits in there for sure.
Yeah, really good skits. There's a couple of dumb ones, but lots of really good ones. There's another sex. They actually have another sex scene where they're watching news and they start having sex, and the broadcasters can see the sex through the TV, and they start commentating on the sex. That one's there too. So lots of funny stuff. It's not, safe for work. It is not appropriate for kids, but it is hilarious.
Yeah, this is actually really is a fun little film. So if you guys get a chance to check it out, I wasn't aware of it until later, and like I was probably in my 30s, I would say, when I
think I
found
showed
out
it
about
to
this
you
film
for the first time.
Yeah, it might have been you that showed it to me.
Yeah, I brought it over. I was like, "You never saw this movie?"
Yeah, that makes sense. Chris is obsessed with it. He was like, "You got to check out Kentucky Fried Movie," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "If it's anything like the chicken." You what?
I think I saw it in my 20s.
I discovered it in high school. Like we'd watch it every week. I'd be like, "All right, let's watch Kentucky Fried Movie." We'd go watch wrestling, and then we'd watch the Kentucky Fried Movie. It was like it was an event.
Your thing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I've only seen it the once, but it was so long ago. Yeah.
All right.
I need to revisit.
Yeah, I think we all kind of do. I'm going to move on to number 4, though, because number 4 is a deadly duo. We're talking about, yes, whoever said this earlier got it correct. We're talking about Scary Movie 1 and Scary Movie 2. So there's different reasons for this. Scary Movie 1, I believe, is for what Chris and Kevin would like to talk to you guys about. And Scary Movie 2, I will like to talk to you about that one. So let's go ahead with Scary Movie 1, guys.
I'll do 2, Chris.
Okay, I'll do 1. That's fine. Scary Movie 1 is a parody of American Pie for the most part. In the sex scene, not really fully, but it is a lot of stuff. Like it has the Allison Hannigan part where it's like, what's my name, bitch? Stuff like that. And it's like, except it's like, when she says it, it's like really deep. It's like, what's my name, bitch?
Yeah.
It's like they put like a tonal like configuration on the voice.
Uh-huh.
And like it starts out and they're like they're making out and stuff, and like he pulls like her underpants up and like bats fly out. She goes, oh, it's been a while. And then he like pulls them off and a giant bush pops out. So he grabs like electric hedge cutters to like trim the hedge. And then like they start having sex, and then they're like she flips up on top of him, and it's like they're going at it. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are like with the murderer wearing the mask, the scream mask, and prank calling people, getting high downstairs. And then it cuts back, and they're like going at it, and then he's about to orgasm, and then you see like his ribs just like go super skinny, like he's like a dead skeleton almost. And then it's a geyser of cum that shoots her up to the ceiling. And it's hilarious.
It's nasty.
The geyser.
It's nasty. There's so many.
Geyser of semen.
A large shot of seminal fluid launches them into the air, but no, it's a geyser of cum.
And it's just the reaction, like seeing his like chest, like
me every time.
Like, he gets so skinny, and you just see his ribs, and it's like that much.
You guys are crazy. Okay, Kevin, let's talk about 2.
Well, part 2 has a couple of things. One involves, I think it's Tori Spelling's character. She has relations with the ghost. And then the ghost is kind of like over her, and he's like, no, get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. And it's just hilarious. Like, usually the ghost is chasing you. She's chasing the ghost. Like, hey, come back here.
She becomes clingy. Yeah,
it comes clingy. He's like, he doesn't want to have like a long-term relationship with her. It's just hilarious. And then there's Marlon Wayne's character, Shorty, who also gets together with one of the ghosts. And that actually does seem to continue into a long-term relationship, especially at the end of the movie. They're in the car. And it's just freaking crazy how.
Oh yeah, he puts a bag over the ghost or something.
Right.
Over
the bag over the ghost.
It was like a possessed ghoul or some shit. Yeah, he puts a bag over because the face is terrible, but he's like, I don't care, whatever. Then there's another one with David Cross, I think, where he's in a wheelchair. And he's like, I could do it myself. And he just fellatios himself.
Yes.
And then my favorite one is with Chris Elliott, where he plays the butler, this creepy butler. And he's making Thanksgiving dinner. He made Thanksgiving dinner for everybody, and they're all sitting at the table, right? And he's got this really tiny, gimpy, like, looking hand. It's really small. And he's like, the key to good mashed potatoes, you just got to get right in there. And he's like, digs his hand in there, and everybody's like, oh. And he's like swirling it around with his hand. And then he's like, then you got to get the turkey. And he says, you got to get all them giblets out. And he starts yanking out all the stuff on the inside and the big turkey neck and everything. And then he's like, and then you have to stuff it. And then he starts to have sex with the turkey. And as he's coming to a crescendo, he goes, Hiawatha! It's amazing. It's amazing. Only for that scene, honestly. Like, if there was no other scenes, just that scene, I would still go to see the movie because it's so funny and so stupid. So, yeah, check them out if you can. It's Scary Movie 1 and Scary Movie 2. That's the twofer at number 4, guys. Number 3, though. Well, this is a classic. I mean, talk about getting put into scenarios where it's just always terrible for you. That's Jason Biggs' character in none other than American Pie. Overall, guys, what'd you guys think of American Pie? Big fans?
I loved it. I went and saw it in the movie theater like 3 times. It kind of created, the late 90s, early 2000s sex comedy. And created 8 American Pie movies.
Yeah, straight to video, most of them.
A lot of them, yeah.
4 theatrical releases.
Yeah.
A 5th one coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
Really? What could be called?
No idea, but
no idea.
I know they're working on it. I thought it was hilarious.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It coined the term.
A friend of mine is in the movie.
There would be no MILF without American Pie.
That's true. And who said it? It was it Brandon Choi? Brendan Choi?
Yeah, it was Harold from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually I've met the entire cast of them, and we've talked about the movie quite a bit. And I think it's really fun, and it's probably one of my favorite comedies made in the last 20 plus years, 25 years, because it really did create like a whole new genre of, well, not really create, but like they kind of took a genre from the 80s, brought it back 20 years later, and made it worse. It made it like raunchier and made it like amped up the energy to it. So, and then it created a like good 10 years of solid comedy from it. So
It's true. It's true. It's a great film. This scene here is right after Jason Biggs decides to have sex with the pie and gets caught, I believe, by his mother and father, who walk in and see him.
And Eugene Levy is so
Because,
awkward with it.
It's just like warm apple pie.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
trying to do
It's
the
like
talk
warm
with his
apple pie.
son.
If it's like warm apple pie,
And he's like,
then-
McDonald's or homemade? And then, of course, it's a homemade apple pie just sitting there. And like any teenage guy, what's he going to do? I'll try to fuck it. I mean, it's the stupidest thing. But when you're a horny teenage dude, like there's so many things that you think of that are just
Wonder
wrong.
how hot was that pie? Did it like burn his dick? Like
I would hope it was just nice and warm,
Right.
and-
I imagine it didn't look like it was fresh out of the oven,
right. Yeah.
I think it had been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, I think hopefully it was a little warm at least, like, because he did say like warm apple pie, right? He was like warm apple pie, like that. Yeah.
I mean,
So-
he did do the finger test first.
Yeah, that's true. He did. He
did,
dipped
yeah.
his fingers in there to see.
He did.
That's right. Yes, to see if it was warm. And then he was like, "Oh yeah,
Or
it is
how
nice and
warm.
warm. Yeah, this is nice." That was smart. That's the smartest thing he did was do the finger test on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only smart
Rule of
thing
thumb,
he
if
did.
you're gonna fuck a pie, make sure you do a little test first.
Right. If you're gonna fuck a pie, you better do the finger test first.
wasn't he like thinking about doing a watermelon or something first and then saw the pie?
No, I don't
I'm
think
thinking
so.
of another movie.
Maybe
I think
another
we're
movie.
thinking of another movie. Wasn't it Me, Myself, and Irene? Did he like fuck a cantaloupe or something?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Also, don't forget that there's the streaming scene where he accidentally has it streaming, I think, and
Yeah, the webcam.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
and everybody sees him trying to dance for the girl and her taking her top off and stuff.
And it sees him premature.
Yep. Yes. Oh
Ejaculate.
God. Yep. Yeah. Talk about the most ridiculous scene known to mankind, but still hilarious nonetheless. American Pie is a classic, a true classic from the '90s.
It really is.
If you haven't
25
seen
years
it,
next year.
if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend it. Let's go
If you
to
haven't
the
seen it, what's wrong with you?
right. That's also true. But
Want
I'm
to
gonna
watch it? It's on Max.
I'm gonna say the same thing for this one. That probably not many people have seen at all. I don't know if it's 2 words or one. I think it's 1 word. But
Yeah, I think it's one word.
number 2 with a bullet is Beer Fest. Now,
Oh, yeah.
hear me out on this one. I fought hard for this because
I agree
just-
with you.
Once I learned about it, I forgot about the scene, which is terrible because I love this movie with a passion.
it's so good.
I think it's I think it's my favorite movie from them, from this company. And I'm
That's-
ashamed of myself that I forgot.
That's right, Ward, director of the multiverse. That's right. It is American Pie, of course. Beer Fest is number 2 with a bullet. Now, the lovely part I have with this is that, like, the dude that you see in bed right here, right? Hilarious. I can never remember his name, but he's fudging hilarious. And he's drunk the entire time.
Jay Chandrasekhar.
Thank you. And he comes out of the restroom or something, and he's wearing like this fly outfit, and he's like, "Hey!" And there's this hot ass chick he sees across the bar, and he's like, "Oh my god!" And he like saunters over, and he's dancing, and the music's playing, and he's looking fly, and he swings up next to her, and he's like, "Hey, baby, why don't we get out of these wet clothes and into a dry martini?" And she's like, "Ooh, that sounds nice. My place or yours?" And he's like, "Yeah, baby. We can go wherever we want," and he's all like slick and cool, right? So he ends up back at her place and then wakes up the next day. And the next day, he starts revisiting everything that happened in his head. And you start seeing everything from a drunk asshole's perspective. He comes out of the restroom with a 12-pack box on his head like a crown. And he's slurring. And he's like, well, we have sex right now, baby. And it's not this, and no offense to Monique, it's not this thin, beautifully gaunt, like sexy model woman. It's Monique, who's a little more voluptuous and some might not see as attractive in ways. See, I'm trying to be as nice as possible. See, I'm doing a good job. And so he's revisiting every moment with her, and like she's like when she's thinner and he's in his drunken state, she's like, oh baby, this feels so good. And then he flashes back to what really happened, and Monique's on him, and she's like, I'm gonna break your dick off. And it's the funniest shit ever.
My favorite part is they're in the taxi and she's giving him a blowjob, or no, he's giving her a blowjob.
Yeah,
blowjob. He's eating her out.
Right.
And
kind of linguist.
And
sir.
she goes, "Ooh, how many licks does it take to get to the center?" Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty naughty. It's a pretty naughty one for sure. But it's a shitload of fun. If you get to watch Beer Fest, I think it's their best. Honestly,
I do too.
I think it's their best one, aside from Tacoma FD.
Tacoma FD is hilarious.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. There was 3 seasons of hilarity. I don't think we're getting a 4th. I think it's done. I think it might be over.
No, hope not.
I'm very sad about that.
If anyone wants to watch this movie, it is on Max.
Nice. Yeah, definitely check it out. So that's number 2, Beer Fest. Gotta love it. And number 1.
And actually, there were 4 seasons, so we're not getting a 5th.
Oh, was there 4? Oh.
Yeah. The 4th one just ended.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, I have to watch it. I've only seen the 3. I'm stoked then. That's great. I love that show. It's like warm apple pie.
Yeah.
It is like comfort food, though. It is nice. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. They do some fucked up shit in it. Okay, number 1. Boom. Team America, World Police. Why?
America.
Yeah.
Why is this film number 1?
Because there is nothing funny in the entire world than puppets having sex.
And boy, do they ever.
Oh, they do every position
Puppets
in the Kama Sutra. Yeah.
Nasty sex.
It is something special, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, if you could describe every sexual maneuver for the audience.
I don't know what they're all called, but let's see. They do 69. They do one where like she's upside down and he's holding her legs up, and she's like sucking his penis that way. They do doggy style, of course. I
feel like there was
railing her against the wall. There's like it's like a montage, and they do at least like 20 or 30 different positions in this little like minute and a half montage of sex.
There's a lot.
And then in the unrated version, oh man, it's even dirtier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got a little golden shower action. And a little steamer action. Ugh.
Uh-huh, yep.
Oh,
Dear Lord.
so gross. So gross.
And I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Oh, I had to fight hard for this to get number 1.
You did. You definitely did.
The soundtrack seals the deal for me. It really does.
I mean, you think about the effort.
For every situation, and of course the song that's playing over the scene is freaking hysterical.
Yes.
It's this beautiful, like ridiculous sounding love song, but it's up against like just the contrast between the song and the visuals. It makes it.
It's true.
And just imagine that the effort it took to make that scene.
Yeah, the effort it took to make it, Chris. You're not wrong. they were talking about it. They thought that they were going to get it done much quicker than they did, and the budget blew out of control for them because of time, because of the time it took to control the puppets and to move them and stuff. They thought it would be way easier, and they were like, "We are never doing this again."
And also, didn't they almost get rated NC-17 because of this scene?
Yes.
I think you're not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I remember hearing that. Like they had to argue with the MPAA over it because they're like, it's fucking puppets.
Right.
It's puppets. None of this is real.
Right. And
Well, they're probably thinking about the children.
right.
This was not a child movie, though.
The children watching a rated R film.
It's always about the children.
Yeah, brought to you by the people of South Park. Again, people like thinking that South Park is a kids' film are ridiculously uneducated if they think that.
It's true. He's not wrong. Chris is not wrong. It was something special, I'm going to say. Definitely something special. So we got a few comments here. Oh, it's okay, Mom. Mom and Dad are here. They say, sorry we're late. Everybody say hi to my mom and dad.
Hello.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Thank you for making it.
Sabrina says, need to leave early. Good night. Good night, Sabrina. Have a good one. We're actually almost done anyway. This is number 1 with a bullet here. Team America World Police. So that's basically the show. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. We didn't have much going on beyond this. Black Crown EP says, you guys forgot about MacGruber. The scene with Kristen Wiig is hilarious, but the scene where Will Forte makes love to his ghost wife is so great, and you are not wrong, sir.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
It's fantastic.
Oh, it's great.
I
You would
love
really like it.
that film. I love that scene. In fact, if you don't think that I'm a big fan of MacGruber, you have never seen the photo of me standing actually next to Will Forte holding a celery stick.
The celery.
The celery stick.
What about the hair gel scene from There's Something About Mary?
That's not a sex scene.
It's a self-sex scene. He did have sex with himself, his hand, and he didn't realize where it went, and it went in his hair. And then she saw it on his ear, and she saw it, and she's like, "Is that hair gel? I could use some." And she did this with it, and then the whole time in the next scene, it's just sticking up.
Yeah, I think that fits more under the after sex scenes that we were talking about at the beginning, though.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. That's why we didn't include it. But you could also argue that same thing with Kingpin too, where he had to have sex with a horribly nasty woman. In order to keep his place of residence, and we're talking about Woody Harrelson, and then the aftermath of him puking in the toilet the entire time.
Well, then there's the aftermath of a fake sex scene in Hot Tub Time Machine.
What is it about good sex that makes you have to take a crap? Right? Am I right, Chris? Am I right?
Yes.
That's
yes.
Kingpin for you, baby. Probably
Can't forget
the
honorable mention,
best comedy of
Orgasmo.
all time. Orgasmo, yes. Orgasmo's great. We get a little Ron Jeremy action in Orgasmo, actually, which is interesting.
And one of my just favorite random lines ever is stunt cock.
Now, I don't know how many of you know this or not, but I actually have met and hung out with Ron Jeremy on several occasions, weirdly enough. And one thing I did find out about him is that he gropes in his sleep. The man, when he falls asleep, he gropes. He sleepwalks, but sex walks. So if you're anywhere...
And he's also a narcoleptic, so...
Yeah. So if you're anywhere near him, and he's asleep, and he's like in that like phase or whatever you would call it, he will try to grab you, man or woman, in different spots of your body, and he doesn't even know he's doing it. He's completely out. And like he had a friend with him, I had to wake him up. Like that's some freaky shit. You were doing porn for too long, sir.
Yeah, I've met him many times.
That is happening to you.
I've met him many times, but he always thankfully was awake when I met him. So.
Yeah. Well, he fell asleep on the bus that I was on with him, and my friend was sitting next to him, and she was like, "I can't sit here anymore." He's grabbed my tit like 5 times, And I was like, what do you mean? And I look over and he's just soundly sleeping like a goddamn little baby, right? And she's like, no, you don't understand. He keeps mumbling to himself, and then he'll turn and he'll grab, and then he'll make like milking noises and go like that. And she's like, I don't want to sit by him anymore. So we had to have like a seat swap with another dude that like his friend dude that sat over by him instead of over here, and I sat over there, and she sat next to me then. But yeah, it is interesting. An interesting time with Ron Jeremy, let me just say. An orgasmic time, one might say. Huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, the Kingpin scene is an all-time great, says Black Crown AP. And my mom says hi all, so she says hi back. Or dad, one or the other. I'm not sure which. Probably mom. Or they both said it, and mom typed it in. There we go. There we go, right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. But yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. Gee. Before we go, what is, really quickly, I want to mention next week's topic, but I also want to talk about our sponsors. Go to splatteredfrog.com. Type in Shortbox, get 20% off your order. You can get some cool hats, beer cozies, stuff like this for your beers and things. Koozies, you can get pint-sized glasses, all kinds of fun things. Also, you go to halfshotsauce.com, HAFFS, hotsauce.com. Type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups and get 10% off your order. It's Christmas time. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. You can go to Costco. You can go to Sam's Club. You can go to Big Lots. You can get them that pack of hot sauce that's filled with vinegar and bullshit. And it's going to say, for the hot sauce lover. And it's going to be in the shape of a goddamn stocking or a candy cane or something. And it's going to have little tiny bottles of hot sauce. They're all fucking terrible. They're all terrible. Trash sauce, guys. They're all made in China. There's no effort behind it. Each one is the same thing. Get them an artesian, delicious hot sauce. Get them something that they'll respect and appreciate. Get them something like Bonnie's favorite, Hot Tropic. Right there, Hot Tropic. Get them a Killer Pickle, a bottle of Killer Pickle, which is a spicy dill pickle hot sauce, which is chef's kiss. Get them a bottle of Pineapple, which is a wonderful pineapple-based hot sauce with a delicious kick. Get them something like this for Christmas, for a stocking stuffer, for a white elephant gift. These are the gifts that people want. These are the gifts people love. Get it, enjoy it, pass it on. Thank you. And with that, Chris, what is next week's podcast episode, sir?
Oh, we're gonna be doing some shit talking. We're gonna be discussing and trying to rank the funniest potty humor scenes.
Mm-hmm. We're talking bowel movements, excrement, piss, and shit. Dogs and cats living together. Farting, mass hysteria.
Funny farts.
Yeah, farts and beans and farts. All that fun stuff. It's gonna be great. Campfire farting, flame farting, everything you can think of. There's gonna be farts galore. There's gonna be poopy. It's gonna be craptacular. It's gonna be craptacular. I was gonna say spectacular, but then craptacular went with that. My mom says, yep, you're right. Love my hot sauce on scrambled eggs. Yes, especially the dill pickle on the scrambled eggs, Mom. I know you love that. It's a solid house favorite for sure. Made in Ohio, so you know it's good.
Or bad.
Because only spectacular things come from Ohio, guys. Let's be honest.
No, and Ohio State.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure it's true, yeah. I think it's science, Bonnie.
No, it's not. Yeah. You're wrong there.
No,
there's some pretty bad things that come out of Ohio.
It's science. Now, Michigan. Ooh-la-la-la. There's some
Michigan's amazing.
Stink pot stuff that comes out of there.
See, we got M&M. We got
Flint.
We got Faygo soda. We got Cars.
I think I just won. Don't drink the water. I think Dave Matthews created a song about that.
Mr. Raimi comes from Michigan, does he not?
That's true. He does. So does Bruce Campbell, technically. Yeah.
Yes.
Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell.
Jeff Daniels.
Coen brothers as well, I believe. So yeah, there's some decent things that fell out of Michigan. You just shook it. And
they have the lakes, all those lakes.
Right. Yeah.
We don't own all of them, though. We only own
that's Wisconsin. Wisconsin owns all of them.
Oh, they
They Lando Lakes. They have all the Lando Lakes. Like that's Lando
No.
Lakes. It's literally
No, they
Lando
don't.
Lakes. They got butter
They-
too.
Wisconsin only touches 2 of them.
They got Dean Martin. My mom says. I think that's Ohio though. And we have astronauts. We have so many astronauts. I mean, and presidents and vice presidents. Come on.
Yes, but then you have Ohio
We
State,
win.
which evens it all out and makes it a poopy.
Oh, I didn't go to
Number
Ohio
one
State,
in
so
our
I
list
don't
next
care. And you didn't go to Michigan.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It's bullshit if you argue for a team that you never really went to school with or for or I don't know. What is that? Alongside? I don't
See,
know.
us Michigan people never got over the war for Toledo.
Oh, okay. Well, too soon then. Too soon. All right, guys.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. Bonnie, thank you for being our guest this evening. We really appreciate it. Chris, thank you for being here. Kevin, thank you for being here and being so much brighter now. You look great, Kevin. And to all of you out there in podcast land, live podcast land, thank you for viewing this podcast. We appreciate you very much. And if at some point you're out there and you're feeling thirsty, perhaps you should
Have a passionate, steamy, but always delicious Rumble Pop.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.